Hello, Denise. How are you? Good to see you. You're first as usual. Oh, there's a few more people hopping on. Hi, everybody. How are you all? Let me know who's here. It's good to be back. I missed you last week. Um, I just, sometimes things get a bit overwhelming and I just need to take a break. So I hope you understand, but I missed, hi, Patty. I miss seeing you all. So it's good to be back this week. Yes, just sometimes life happens and I think, oh goodness, I just need to take a little break. So that's what happened last week. But I'm back. So anyway, how are you all? I hope you're having a good day and a good week. Hope you all had a good Easter weekend. Ours was fairly quiet, but that's okay. So, hi Louise from Oxfordshire, UK. Wow, a fellow countryman or country person. How are you? So let's see, it's about 8 o'clock there, right? Oxfordshire is lovely. Are you a demonstrator, Louise? Or are you just a hobby or just a Stampin' Up fan? Hey, Deborah, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, there's all kinds of cool people hopping on today. How's Florida? Deborah's one of my team. Louise says, I'm good. She's a hobby demo. That's awesome. That's great. All right. I bet it's lovely weather in Florida. Great, Jesus. Good. Good. It's so good to see you. All right. Well, welcome everyone. And if you're watching on the replay later, then welcome to you all too. And thank you so much for tuning in. So I've got today a sneak peek for you from the brand new annual catalogue. This is the catalogue. I can't show you inside yet, just the cover, but look how lovely this card is on the front. I can't wait to have a go at making that. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about in colours. So I'm sure you all know, if you're a Stampin' Up demonstrator or a Stampin' Up follower, you know that every year they come out with new in colours, and here are this year's. So we've got Tahitian Tide and Orchid Oasis and Parakeet Party, Starry Sky and Sweet Sorbet. So I'm sure you all have a favourite by now, right? Mine, I think, has to be Orchid Oasis. I kind of gravitate towards the blues and the purples. But I do love Starry Sky too, which has quite a bit of purple in it, actually. But so Stampin' Up comes out with 5 new colours every year, and they're based on trends. They look in the marketplace in fashion and design and home decor, and they they look at trends and base the colours on trends. Tahitian Tide and Orchid Oasis, yes. And this I thought reminded me a little bit of, what was the one that Tempting Turquoise we had a few years ago, but Tempting Turquoise is definitely a little bit darker than this and a bit more green in it. This is pretty blue, but yes, really pretty colours, I think. Wasn't sure about this one to start with. It's very bright, but it goes with them all really nicely. So anyway, these will be around for 2 years. We just said goodbye, or we're just about to say goodbye to some. Misty Moonlight and Just Jade I'm quite sad about, because I did really love those. And then Polished Pink, Cinnamon Cider, and what was the other one? Bumblebee. Yes, it does. Very, very fresh. This, I think Louise is probably talking about this one. Very fresh colours. So anyway, I have a team meeting every month with my team and we do a meeting on Zoom, and we made in colour cards. I always create a project for them, design some make and takes. And so this month we did these cards. I'll flip them over. I'll show you one at a time. So we used the Magenta Madness, not Polish Pink. You're right, Louise. Thank you. Yes, Polish Pink is still one of the current in colours. Magenta Madness was the one that we said goodbye to. Yes, thank you. They're a little bit similar, but we have Polish Pink for another year. So anyway, what I did was I used a suite out of this brand new catalogue called Tea Boutique, and I'll show you those all in a minute. But let me show you the cards real quick. So this is the Tahitian Tide one, and here's Orchid Oasis, and here's Starry Sky, and this is Party Parakeet, and Sweet Sorbet. So for these we used the designer series paper that I wanted to create a project for my team where if they didn't have the stamp set, that they'd be able to still make the cards and they could use their own sentiments. But I did use the sentiments from the bundle. So let me show you those so that you'll know what I'm talking about here. So this is the stamp set and the dies. So there's lots of lovely stamps. So there's a couple of different teacups, and then you can add greenery and then little tea bags and slices of fruit, and then there's all kinds of big sentiments, and then there's some little ones. Some of these little ones fit onto the tea bag, which is cute. In fact, I did that on this one. I typed sweet on the tea bag right there. And then the dies, so you can cut out the 2 cups and some of the floral foliage. And then you can cut out the tea bags. There's 2 different sizes. There's hearts, there's flowers. And I like that they gave you, Stampin' Up does this quite a lot now, where they give you doubles of things, which is nice. So there's 2 flowers, there's 2 hearts, and then there's this die here that cuts out these flowers. So you can stamp these flowers along the top of this these leaves. You can just stamp them onto the cardstock, or you can stamp them and then die cut them with this die. It cuts them all together. So very fun stamps and dies. And of course, I'm from England, so I drink a lot of tea, although I drink a lot of coffee now too. I've become quite Americanized actually. But along with that suite, I'll show you a couple of other things in that suite. There's this paper, designer series paper, and it's a 6x6, which is nice. Oops. So I'll show you some of the papers. I've got some loose bits in here. So really pretty teapots and teacups. And oh, Denise says she's enjoying a cup of tea. Well, very nice. I haven't had a cup of tea yet today, but I'm going to go after this. I always have a go and make myself a drink after my Facebook Live. So I'll probably, sometimes it's coffee, but today I think I'll have tea. Louise says she's tempted. Yes. I think you should, Louise. I think you should get this. So look how pretty this one is. So this features all the in colours. Stampin' Up always tells you on the back of, let's see, where is the back sheet? Let me find it. Here. So they always tell you the colours that are used in the designer series paper so that you can match it to your card stocks. And Luis, no, I'm actually, although I'm English, I'm actually in California. So yes, I'm in Sacramento, which is in Northern California, and I've been here since 1987. But I have family in England still. I have family in Norfolk, and I have family in Kent. I'm from Kent originally. So yeah, I'm a long way from home. I do miss England a lot. I'm overdue for a trip. I Haven't been back since 2019, so I'm definitely due for a trip. I am meeting up with my sisters on the East Coast in October. We're going to do a cruise and see all the fall colours, so that'd be exciting. But yes, I'm definitely overdue for a trip back to England. I also have family in Cambridgeshire, and I have family in Buckinghamshire. My immediate family, my sisters, are in Norfolk and Kent, but I have family, cousins and aunts and uncles. Yes, I know I haven't lost my accent yet. Louise says I sound like I'm from the UK. I know. Anyway, sorry, probably boring the rest of you with all my UK talk. But so on the paper here, on the designer series paper, it always says the colours, the cardstock colours that you can coordinate with this, and all the in colours are in this suite, which is nice. So again, lots of lovely pictures. I didn't actually use this paper on the card I'm going to make today, but I wanted to show you another product that coordinates, and I don't think they've ever done this before, but it's really fun. There are these note cards, tea boutique cards and envelopes, and these are standard size, so standard A2 size, standard if you're in the US. And you get, let's see, how many do you get? You get 20, so you get 4 of each colour, 4 note cards and 4 envelopes. So here's the note card, so these just fold in half, and you get 4 for each in colour. So here they all are. There's the other one. There's so they're all kind of slightly different designs. We've got stripes and plaid and polka dot, and there's little kind of stars on here. Check out Kerry Timms from UK Stampin' Up. She just used this. Oh, good. I will check her out. In fact, she might be one that might be one that I saw, and I kind of cased it a little bit. Mine's a little bit different, but you'll see. So you have to tell me if mine's similar. And then there are these lovely envelopes that match. So they've got, the flap is the same as the card, and then they've got some flowers on them. So are these pretty? So what I thought I would do for my live today is I made cards using these instead of what I used on these cards was some other designer series paper that you can buy in all the colour families and the in colours, and it's the same design. So you can see this is kind of a plaid here. It's the same design on every colour family, but it's just the different colours. So I used that for our team meeting, but I thought I would use this collection today. So what is very cool also, what Stampin' Up's done is if you flip this paper over, you've got, it matches the card bases and the envelopes also. So look at this. This one matches here. This one matches here. If you can see this all. I know, aren't the envelopes pretty? Here's the Tahitian Tide. Get 4 of each design. Let's see, what am I missing? Oh, here's Sweet Sorbet. And let's see, I've got these kind of all out of order because I've been playing around with them. Trying to find a whole one. I saw a cut one of, oh, here's so they've designed this paper, the Tea Boutique paper, so that it'll work with the note cards and envelopes too. Isn't that cool? So very clever. That's what I love about Stampin' Up, is their coordination. You know, their cardstock and their designer series paper and ribbon and embellishments, and now note cards. So let me show you what we're going to make today. Those to one side for a minute. I can find them here. So I've done very similar to what I did for my team meeting, but I've done some stamping this time. So here's Tahitian Tide, and here's Orchid Oasis. And here's Starry Sky. And Sweet Sorbet. And I haven't made Parakeet Party yet. That's one we're going to make together. And what I did was I matched the flowers. So let's see. Let's grab this one. Here's Starry Sky. You see how there are different flowers. So I was able to go back and look at the colours and the design. So the colours are not listed on the note cards, but because they coordinate with that Tea Boutique Designer Series paper, I was able to go back to the paper and look and see what other colours were in here. And it said that there was fresh freesia. So I'm like, wow, that's fresh freesia. So what I did was on my card, so that my card would match my envelope, I did my flowers here and my sentiment in fresh freesia. And then this is, I don't remember if I did Starry Sky or Orchid Oasis, because it kind of looks like there's Orchid Oasis on here too. But I was able to make my cards so that they really matched the envelopes. Hey, Christine, watching on YouTube. Good, good. Yes, so we've got, so Christine is my sister. She's in Norfolk. And Christine, we've got Louise watching, and she's from Oxfordshire. So we were talking about English stuff. So anyway, let's do so they all match. So here's this one. Yes, I am due a trip home for sure. Here's this one. So I matched, here I used Flirty Flamingo. It said there was Petal Pink, but I used Flirty Flamingo and Pumpkin Pie to match that one. And then this one I used, again, the Fresh Freesia and Orchid Oasis. And then this one, again, I used Flirty Flamingo and Pumpkin Pie. So that way everything matches nicely. So let's do the last one, Parakeet Party, and then we can come back and look at those later. So I need my envelope and I need a note card. So that's that. So the other new product I'm using today is this set of new frames called Fabulous Frames, and these will be in the new catalogue. Now the new catalogue goes live May 3rd. It's not available quite yet, so we've got a couple of weeks to wait until you can order these products. But as I've shown them in my team meeting, I thought it would be fun to show them to you today. So I'm using this frame right here. So I've got one of those already die cut. So I'm going to put that onto my card base. Now you can attach this a few different ways. You can use, I'm going to pop it up. I'm going to use dimensionals. I'm going to show you a couple of different things you can do here. So if you have some, let's see, that's a good one. If you have some mini dimensionals, there's these nice wide strips along the side. So you can, rather than doing just individual, you can kind of cut this in half. And we can use this other piece too here. And just put these on the back. I want to cover most of the frame. I don't want to be kind of sagging. Don't want any sagging. So I do want to cover most of it. We can use this other piece on the other side. Let's see, it's too long for that one. So I'll put that down here. Now the other product you can use is this. If you have these foam adhesive sheets, what this is like, you've seen me use these before, I'm sure. It's like a giant, it's just like one giant dimensional. It's the same thickness, but it's just one sheet. So you can also use this and just cut off. Now I tried doing this on the paper trimmer and it does kind of work, but it didn't quite go all the way, and so you got these kind of little shaggy bits along the edge, and I wasn't happy with that, so I resorted to just my scissors. You could obviously just put individual dimensionals along too, but that's kind of time consuming. We also have a product called foam adhesive strips, and I did think about using those, but they're quite a bit thicker. They're kind of designed for doing shaker cards, so they're quite a bit thicker than this, so I decided not to use. Let's just kind of measure here. So yeah, I decided not to use those. So I think this is pretty easy, or like say, use those pieces along the edge of your dimensional sheets. Right, so then we'll just peel these peel off pretty easy. She says, there we go. And then we'll just carefully, so I kind of start, I'm going to stand up, make sure I can get this even. Actually, I can use the lines kind of to help me here. It doesn't stick really firm until you really press it down, so you can kind of make sure. All right, so that's that part done. Now we do need to do the middle, so I'll put that to one side. So I've got some piece of paper, and this measures, let me tell you, this is it's kind of an odd size, 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. I wanted it to fit in the middle and still show a little bit of the paper. I didn't want it to fill that whole gap completely. That's why it's kind of a bit of an odd measurement. And I'm going to use my Stamparatus, so I'll grab that. Oh, and first let's do the teacup. So let's see here. So what I did is I made myself a little template, and that way I wouldn't have to, that way it'd be easy. And so what I did was I just took a piece of cardstock, could be any size, and put it into my Stamparatus all the way into the corner, and then I just stamped in the middle. Hi Karen, just stamped in the middle, and then I die cut it, and then I left my stamp on here, and then I just die cut a bunch more cups in white, because I was doing 5 cards, so I thought I might as well just do kind of production style. That way now when I put my little white teacup back in here, it's going to stamp in the right place. So let's do this first, because it's easier to just die cut without having to line up, right? So anything to make my life a little bit easier. So I'm going to set this. It's easier if you sit something under your Stamparatus lid. That way it stays nice and flat. So I think that up really well. The nice thing is too, if I don't get a really good image first time, I can stamp again. I like to kind of hold it for a few seconds and really let the ink kind of soak into the paper. And quite often it sticks like this, which is fine. And ooh, look how lovely that is. Now that'll probably dry a little bit lighter. We'll set that off to one side. Now, and let's see, where's my chamois? Let me wipe that off. Now you'll see it's not too bad, but my stamp is a little bit stained, and that will happen, especially when you use the sweet sorbet. If you use the pinks and the reds and the purples, your stamp will stain a little bit, but it doesn't alter the performance. It'll work still just fine. All right, now I'm going to flip this around, and I can take my template out, and I'm going to stamp the greenery. Now, if you look, let's see where my cards, those are the other ones. Let's grab one. Where did I put them? They've gone missing. Oh, here they are. If you look at this, the stamp is fairly close to the edge here. And what tends to happen in the Stamparatus is if you have a stamp really close up to the hinge, it doesn't, this part that's close to the hinge doesn't always stamp very well. So I like to just kind of turn things around, and so my stamp isn't right up to the edge. So what I did, rather than, the obvious thing would be to put your cardstock like this, right? But then my stamp would be up really close to this left edge and I may not get a good impression. So what I did was I flipped it like this, and then I've got my stamp. I can move my magnet a little bit. And I'm going to stamp like this, and that way I'm not too close to the hinge here. Does that make sense? So just kind of move things around to suit you. And you can still ink it up. You can still have your Stamparatus sideways, doesn't matter. So I hope that makes sense. Makes sense to me sometimes, but not when I'm talking. So I had already figured out where to put this because I've done, of course, 4 other cards. So that's nice. Now I could have done my sentiment in the Stamparatus too, but that's pretty easy to do in terms of lining up. So, but we do have to decide what color to do the sentiment, because I've got lots of green going on right now. So let's look at the envelope flap, the envelope. And so I think I'll do the sentiment one of these bright colors. I think I'll do it in Sweet Sorbet. So I've got that stamp ready to go, and I'm doing all thank you cards. I need a lot of thank you cards. I'm always sending thank you cards to customers, and I help with the thank you cards at church. I'm like one of the correspondence people, so I send thank you cards out to people at church too. So I should be using a matte, but we're just going to go for it here. Hope that it stamps nicely. Perfect. Now, before we start to assemble, I have a little trick to show you for the flowers. So let's talk about the options for the flowers. So we could stamp the flowers directly on here, right? There's a stamp here that we could line up and stamp right onto there, right? We could stamp them onto a separate piece of cardstock and in the different colors, and then die cut them, right, and stick them on. But that gets fiddly because I want to do these two flowers different color from these ones, right? We could just not stamp them and die cut them in a bunch of different colors of cardstock. But I have a little trick to show you that worked really well. And it involves dryer sheets. So I'm going to put this to one side. And I'm going to bring in my little baby boss. And I have somewhere a piece of dryer sheet and a piece of cardstock. So I've got a piece of dryer sheet. This is a partial sheet because I used part yesterday. And I've got a piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to cut my dryer sheet to approximately the size I want. So actually I'll just cut it pretty much down this crease. Smells lovely. Smells like fresh laundry. Oops, I've got a splodge on there. I'll turn it over. And then I'll just cut it across here. It doesn't have to be exact, just approximate. All right, then I'm going to grab my die for the little flowers. This one. And my plates. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to put the die, I'm going to put my plate, one plate. Let's see, this one's a little bit flatter. I've got my base that I need for dies. I've got my clear plastic plate. Then I'm going to put my dryer sheet and my white cardstock and then my die. And what's going to happen is the dryer sheet is going to stick to the back of the cardstock when I run it through, and it's going to prevent the little flowers from popping out. I want them to stay in there, and you'll see why. So I've got my die cut machine here, so I'm going to run this through. I always have trouble in my Facebook Lives. Oh, here we go. So now when I lift this up, see my flowers are still in here, right? So then I can do another set. I'll just do two and you'll get the idea. So then I can run this through again. Okay, so I will just do two, but I'll show you, yesterday I did a bunch because I knew I had 5 cards. Now what happens, I don't know if you can see, but the ones that I previously die cut get a bit flattened, but that's fine, it doesn't matter. And you can see the ones that I just die cut are popped up a little bit more, but it doesn't matter, as you'll see. So then what I'm going to do is, just leave it on there actually. No, I guess I don't need to do that. Now I'm going to colour them. So I'm going to take a couple of sheets of just paper as a backup because the markers will bleed through. Then I can grab my blends and I can colour them whatever colour I like. Let me zoom in here. Let me see so you can see what I'm doing. Move my comments out of the way. There we go. All right, so of course Stampin' Up came out with blends for all the new colours, in colours. These are Starry Sky, or no, these are Orchid Oasis. So let's look back at the envelope flap again. So I want my colours to match this. So I'm going to do Sweet Sorbet and Flirty Flamingo for the large flowers, and then I'm going to do Pumpkin Pie for the little ones. So let's just grab, so I want Flirty Flamingo, I'm going to use the dark. So let's do Sweet Sorbet, that's light. You can start off with the light and see which you're just going to colour like this, and it doesn't matter if I go outside the lines. I can do an extra one just in case. And I'm going to go in with Flirty Flamingo, and if I want to go back and make them darker I can. And then I'm going to do Pumpkin Pie for the little ones. Oops, that one came out. Stay in there. Well, let's just do a different one. Usually they don't come out. I'll do this one instead. That one's trying to come out. All right, now I'm going to set these aside to dry for a minute because while we assemble the rest of the card, because what I found yesterday when I was doing them was the back got really saturated because of the alcohol ink, and my dimensionals wouldn't stick very well to them. These are misbehaving, these ones, they came out, but that's okay. So I'm going to put those aside to dry a little bit. But isn't that much quicker than having to do any of the other methods I talked about, or cutting out lots of different, you know, colors of cardstock? And you can make them. So here's the one I had from yesterday, and see all the different colors I did. And I've still got some more here too. All right, so now we can go back to assembling. So I'm going to stick my cardstock in here. And I like to do liquid glue for this just because I can kind of move it around a little bit and get it centered. So we'll pop that in. Like that. And then before I put the teacup on, I'm going to put some ribbon around it. So there's ribbon for the in colors also. This is the one, there's one for each of the 5 colors. This is the Parakeet Party, and it's lovely thin ribbon. It's only 1/8 of an inch, very delicate and sparkly. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of the cup, and cut off a little piece. Let's just poke this through here and stick it like that. And then I'm just going to cut I'm not very good. If you are good at wrapping things around and tying a bow all at once, then you're welcome to do that. I'm not very good. I prefer to attach it and then do a separate, attach it like this and then do a separate bow. They just come out better for me, but whichever way you prefer. Now we'll stick this on some dimensionals. So these note cards make it really easy to make some quick, colourful cards, don't they? So then we can just position this, that, and then I'll do a little bow. I'll do the bunny ears bow. But these come out better for me, she says. Famous last words. Then when I do them, you know, tie it all at once, wrap it around and tie it, the bows always come out really crooked and weird looking. So I like to do this way, and then you can really get the bow as big or tiny as you like. So trim this. So there's my little bow, and I'll take a glue dot. And now you can stick the bow right onto the glue dot, but if it's a tiny one like this, what I prefer to do is to put the glue dot down on the card. So I usually pick it off with my scissors, or you can use your pick tool, and then I kind of squish it down so it's just a tiny little, into a tiny ball, because I don't want it to show behind the bow. And then I've stuck it onto the middle of my ribbon there, and then I can just put this one on the top, and that way, because the glue dots are a little bit bigger than that knot, I didn't want it to show behind. So there's that. So now all we have to do is add the flowers, so let's bring those back. So the 2 large ones I'm going to put on with dimensionals, and you should, sometimes this works and sometimes not. Let's see here. Take your pick tool. Sometimes you can just pick them up. Yeah, there. With the take your pick tool. And they should be dry. So flip those over, and we'll just put a little mini dimensional on the back of the mini ones. So is this a trick that you've seen before, or is it a new trick? Hopefully it's a new one. The dryer sheet, if you're doing like a inlay die design where you've got lots of pieces for the die and you're kind of putting them back in, the little pieces, the dryer sheet is a good trick. So let's put this one here. That's the Flirty Flamingo. This one's the Sweet Sorbet. And, whoops. Oh, I guess I forgot to take the backing off. That would help, wouldn't it? Silly. Stick that one there. And then the pumpkin pie, I'm just going to take some little dots of glue, and I'm just going to put 3 little dots of glue where I want the flowers to go. So we'll do one here, one here, and one down here. Deborah says never use the dryer technique, but she's going to have a go. Good. Yeah, I think it's easier than just the other methods. All right, so now I can pick up a little pumpkin pie flowers. In my team meeting, one of my team said, "What are those little die cuts that look like a duck foot?" So she was talking about these little ones. And we're like, yeah, those are little tiny buds, right? Or little tiny blooms. But she was like, what are the ones that look like duck foots? Just kind of funny. And one of these is coloured. It got flipped over, I thought. Oh, maybe not. I guess I need to colour another one. Right, let's colour another one real quick. I'll finish colouring. Just go over this one again. It may not pick up now because it's, oh yeah, it does. Just because it's wet, I didn't know if it will. I definitely know that the dimensionals won't stick when the ink is still wet. Oh yes, so Deborah's talking about free shipping. Yes, so tomorrow for 24 hours there is free shipping just for one day on orders over $75. So yeah, for you, Deborah, on the East Coast, because it starts midnight Mountain Time, so that'd be 10 o'clock your time, right? I think. Are you 2 hours different from Mountain Time? I think you are in Florida. You're East Coast. For me, it's going to be it's going to be 2 o'clock in the morning for you. It's going to be later. So you'll have to do it tomorrow, maybe when you get up, unless you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning. For me, it's 11 p.m. So if you're a demonstrator, you can order these right now on our pre-order. If you're a customer, you have to wait till May 3rd to order these, but you can become a demonstrator and order these as part of your kit. And there's no pressure to do any sales or anything. You can just be a hobby demonstrator like Louise and just enjoy the discount. So yes, free shipping for 24 hours tomorrow on orders $75 and over. So that's a really good deal. Now to finish off these, let's get finished here. The last coordinating product for the in colors that I'm going to show you is these embellishments. So these are called the 2022 to 2024 in color matte decorative dots. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? And they're fun because they're kind of ombre. They start off really dark and then they go lighter. And in fact, the lightest of the Starry Sky are kind of similar to the darkest ones of the Orchid Oasis. So we can put some, I can use my Take Your Pick, and I'm going to do the light of the Party Parakeet, and I'm going to put them in the middle of the flowers just to finish them off, the big ones anyway, the big flowers. just like that. Isn't that cute? And then we'll do a couple of, you can see I've used quite a lot of these already. Whoops. If I can get this to do one like that. There, and then we'll do another one. Let's see, let's do one of these. Come here. Let's keep flipping over on me. We'll do that one right there. How cute is that? And the flowers, I think, look really cute. So, cute, cute and lovely are my words today, apparently. Everything's cute and lovely. So, and it matches the envelope perfectly, or pretty perfectly. I maybe should have used the Flirty Flamingo light because it's a little bit dark, but that's okay. It still matches pretty well, I think. So let me bring back the other ones to show you. I'm going to fold this over maybe. So there's Party Parakeet. Thanks, Denise. And here's the others. So here's Tahitian Tide. That's Louise's favourite. Here's my favourite. Let's zoom out a bit. Just a little bit. So I can fit all these in. So Party Parakeet, Parakeet Party, Party Parakeet or Parakeet Party? Parakeet Party, I think. Always takes me a little while to get all the names down. Orchid Oasis and Starry Sky and Sweet Sorbet. So with matching, yeah. So I can't usually, especially on my YouTube channel, usually I list all the products I used. So that you can, and then with a link to purchase them, but I can't list them yet. Well, I could, but the way I usually set up my links, you know, that I am not able to list these new products yet, basically until May 3rd. Yeah, hopefully you've all got your new catalogs, and if you're one of my customers, your catalog is on its way. And if you'd like one, if you're not one of my customers, but you don't have a demonstrator, then please let me know and I would love to send you one. And yes, May 3rd, so we're only a couple of weeks away. Thank you, Christine. She says, very pretty cards with an English flavour. Yes, I heard a demonstrator use the term a crafternoon tea. And I thought, oh, that's a really fun term to use, isn't it? A crafternoon tea. It's very British to craft with a cup of tea. So yes, I think I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea right now. And so I hope you enjoyed the cards today, and I'll post pictures. I'll take some pictures and post them later. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in with me today. I'll be back next week with another fun project. So have a great rest of the day. And now.